Hi, everyone. Bill Rentschler in the 1011 Now streaming studio. Hope everyone's having a nice Monday morning. Usually Monday afternoons, we talk to Josh Planos with the Better Business Bureau, but Josh is a busy bee today, so we're hanging out Monday morning. Really quick, just to start out, Josh, you guys have a big press conference coming up this afternoon. We're going to try and stream it live here on 1011now.com. Can you kind of give us a little bit of a teaser, because you're going to be hanging out up with the FBI up in Omaha. Can you kind of give us a little bit of a teaser as to what you guys are going to be talking about this afternoon?
Yeah, the FBI's Take a Beat campaign is really meant to slow consumers down. The vast majority of fraud in this country originates with unsolicited communication and seems almost intentionally designed to speed you up. And a lot of the things that we monitor, that the FBI monitors, the Douglas County Sheriff, Attorney General, you name it, any agency that monitors scams and fraud typically involves someone who was forced into a situation and acted rather quickly in an attempt to remedy that situation without actually doing some of the necessary research and at bare minimum slowing down to process the situation that's being painted for them by the scammer. So it really is it's a good opportunity to bring the agencies together and just have a general reminder of an awareness campaign, because sadly scams and fraud are particularly relevant in our state and are on the uptick. And it's something that we need to be monitoring actively each and every day.
Yeah, and probably just good advice really for really just about anything, and that's just to, hey, slow down, take a beat, just give yourself a minute to think through this. Again, so that's just good advice just across the board in general. But we'll be looking forward to that this afternoon. Again, hopefully, again, I think we're going to be streaming that here from the 1011 Now streaming studio, that press conference from the FBI office up in Omaha. But Josh, what we wanted to talk about today, we were just trying to figure out how many days left. I think it's 42 days and like 15 hours until Election Day 2024. Again, election season never seems like it necessarily stops. It just takes a small break. But you know, whether you're Republican, Democrat, Independent, whatever it might be, you have a candidate that you probably want to support, and you know, whatever, if it's a candidate, a cause, a ballot initiative, they're probably trying to raise money.
Without a doubt, voter, political, election-related scams, they come in a variety of types. Certainly one of the more prominent are those on the donation side, because as you're well aware, candidates require a great deal of money to even throw their hat in the ring and to have an active campaign. So it's very common nowadays to receive emails or texts or phone calls with donation links or requests for donations as the campaigns generate speed. But some of these links also could be phishing scams, right? If you think about this, if it's an opportunity whereby donations are very common, it would stand to reason that a scammer would look to weaponize that traffic for political gain, right? So like fake political action committees, that type of thing. We see a lot of those this time of year. And if you want to donate to candidates, you can do so. You should always go through their certified site. Just like tickets, when you're buying tickets for a game, you go through the official channel, right? You don't go through who is soliciting you. In some cases, they might actually have your information if you're registered with, say, the Nebraska Republican Party. But you want to make sure that, again, you're doing your due diligence and controlling the conversation as best you can. And the way to do that is to go through official channels and certified sites.
Yeah, and I think most of us probably have our email on a list somewhere, and I'm pretty sure those email lists then get kind of bought and sold, and that's sometimes you just have a random candidate all of a sudden that's spamming your inbox, and so that's one of those things that's just like, hey, I feel like most of us probably delete a lot of those emails just pretty quickly, but that's one of those things where it's like, hey, I don't even know who this person is. I need to be careful. I shouldn't be sending money necessarily if I'm just getting spammed without having maybe reached out first and signed up for that correspondence.
It's incredibly challenging, right, to know what communication you're receiving if it's authentic these days, because you can spoof the caller ID, you can spoof subdomains for email addresses, you can spoof any number of pieces of information, and collectively that's incredibly convincing for someone who might just be generally interested in supporting a candidate or a cause. If you do have questions, though, about whether a PAC is registered, you can visit the Federal Election Commission's website. If it's not legal. So that's something to avoid widely. Robocalls, you're going to see a lot of those around this time of year. And my rule of thumb is to not answer the phone unless I have that number saved. And I know that means I will miss a certain amount of pieces of information along the way. But if it's an important phone call, if it's an important message, I can answer that. I can check my voicemail for one and call them back so I can control that conversation to the best of my ability.
Yeah, and you mentioned it, but there are so many PACs nowadays. Say, hey, we're raising money for this person. Well, that candidate, whoever might be, might not even know that this PAC is doing this on their behalf, and they might be sending money to a certain direction where you want money earmarked for another direction. So again, probably better than not. Maybe if you just find the official party website, again, whether that's the Nebraska Republican Party or the Nebraska Democratic Party or whatever, the National Party, to maybe just send your dollars that way.
Without a doubt, that is a federal crime, right? To be impersonating, a political candidate, political campaign for personal gain. So you want to make sure that the bare minimum, just like we would caution in the aftermath of a hurricane or a tornado, if you want to support, crowdfunding efforts looking to support families and victims, that you do your research, right? You ensure that this is actually something that is real to begin with, such that your dollars can make the most meaningful impact possible. Certainly, they're not making a major impact if they're going to, something that was propped up overnight.
Yeah, and again, politics it's an expensive business nowadays. Again, hundreds of millions, if not even billions of dollars being spent and money raised. And again, this probably goes back. We probably could have done this segment about a year ago during the primary season and things like that. So it's kind of a never-ending thing, and they're asking for monthly contributions and whatever else it might be. So a lot to kind of just watch out for there. And again, most of it is going to be solved, kind of like you said at the very beginning, by just taking a beat, slowing down before you kind of maybe hastily enter in your credit card information.
One thing I would also caution folks is we see a lot nowadays about voter registration, right? And that's there are very specific ways in which you can register and specific ways in which you cannot, right? You can't register by phone, by email, or text. In all 50 states, you can only register to vote online, by mail, or in person at local election offices. So if somebody is calling you and telling you it's time to get you registered, you could see why that would be problematic. One, because it's impossible, right? This is illegal. But in another vein, this is really an opportunity for a scammer to access all sorts of personal information, right? If they're going to ask you for, your birthday, your social security, credit card information. I mean, we've heard about a lot of different tactics deployed, but really it's a ploy to gain access to all of your personal information. And if someone is telling you nowadays that they can register you for the upcoming election, really, do your best to discontinue that conversation immediately, because there's very few ways in which you can actually register, and it's not by relying on somebody else over the phone.
Yeah, again, taking something that hopefully a lot of people have done or will do, and that is register to vote, and kind of just making the process a little bit more difficult for everyone. With good intentions, with people with bad intentions. Unfortunately, we see that in all aspects of life nowadays, don't we, Josh?
We do. I mean, everything from even just surveys, fake polls, right? And a lot of we talk around the holiday season around fake mobile apps that are designed to gain your password security information. It's very challenging to know what is deserving of your time and attention in 2024, or at bare minimum, what isn't going to compromise your data. And that's sadly something that we're all collectively working through. But luckily, there are a few best practices to consider to make your consuming experience as safe as possible.
And BBB will have some of these tips and just pieces of advice and guidance up on their website here later today. So we'll link to that both in the YouTube description of this video and in our article on 1011now.com. So again, if you want to read some more, again, you can, again, from the experts, Josh and the guys over at the Better Business Bureau. So Josh, again, I know you're super busy today. So is there anything else you want to make sure you get mentioned before we let you go today?
Just as always, Bill, it's really important to bring this information forward. If you get a text message from someone, then it's clearly a scam. It's not enough to say, well, I was able to see past that. I can promise you there are many that aren't so lucky, many who aren't relying on kind of some of those best practices to avoid scams and fraud. And you can protect somebody, but the way to do it is not by staying quiet. The way to do it is by speaking up. So bbb.org/scam tracker, that is our intake form. It takes all of 2.5 minutes to complete. That's really an extremely helpful tool to let the public, your community, your region know what is happening and to protect them from it.
And I will also throw in a mention, we talked about it last week. Again, I did keep the link in our YouTube description, but you guys have a monthly newsletter that people can sign up for to kind of help people, latest scams and things to watch out for. So again, just some good information to have in your email inbox. And you can find that in the YouTube description of the video or on link to the website on 1011now.com. Josh, I know you're busy, so I'll go ahead and let you go. Appreciate your time today, as always.
Thank you, Bill. Take care.
All right, again, that was Josh Planos with the Better Business Bureau. Again, we always appreciate his time. Again, hopefully we'll see him later this afternoon, again, at that FBI press conference that we'll try and stream and bring to you live here on 1011now.com and our streaming platform. So appreciate everyone for tuning in and watching, as always. Again, until next time, hope everyone has a nice Monday.